It's time for the French newspapers now. France Villeneuve's here with a paper review this week. Internal fighting, once again, within the UMP parties dominating the French press,
That's right. It seems like this is becoming a never-ending saga. It's on the front page of 20 Minutes today. It says that la guerre est redéclarée, so a declaration of war again, because this story just keeps going on and on and on. Le Figaro likens it to a shouting match between deaf people. And just to
Nicely put.
remind you what happened. So last week, there was all this drama between that man, Jean-François Copé, and who has supposedly been elected the president of the opposition UMP party, and François Fillon, the former prime minister, who was also running for that position. Now, this election took place about 2 weeks ago, and it was marred by allegations of fraud. And both candidates say that they won. According to an internal commission, Jean-François Copé did win, but it's turned into this real mess that's pretty much tarnishing the image of the UMP party. Last week, former President Nicolas Sarkozy intervened, tried to mediate, and said that the two had to cooperate. So the latest is that Jean-François Copé has called for a referendum within the UMP party as to whether there should be a recount of the votes. But the problem is that he's said that he wants this referendum to take place in 2014 after the municipal election. So François Fillon says this is too late. He wants there to be this referendum as soon as possible. And in fact, what he really wants is for there to be a whole new election.
It just goes on and on and on, doesn't it? So we could do with a little bit of calm, can't we, from the other side, the socialists. Presumably they're all very happy.
You would think so, but no, it seems that there's a growing rift within the Socialist Party as well. Libération points out that this man, Arnaud Montebourg, he threatened to leave the government over the weekend, so the day that Montebourg wanted to quit. That's on the front page of Libération. Now, what happened is that Arnaud Montebourg, so he's the Industrial Recovery Minister, last week he threatened to nationalize ArcelorMittal. It's a steel giant plant. He wanted to nationalize this plant to save jobs there. And a couple of days later, the Prime Minister Jean-Marc Ayrault said that no, in fact, there would not be any nationalization. So basically didn't back his minister. This really upset Montebourg. That's why he wanted to leave. Libération says that this points out divisions that exist within the Socialist Party. They call it the war of the lefts, and basically points out that there's a struggle within the Socialist Party between people who are more into reforming, such as Jean-Marc Ayrault, and people whose style is more revolutionary, such as Arnaud Montebourg.
Okay, and meanwhile, the right-leaning newspaper Le Figaro, they're going even further, aren't
That's right. They're saying this has turned into a real political crisis for the socialists, and it says that the Montebourg case is weakening Hollande. And in their editorial, they point out that this is a typical case of what they call Hollandisme, and it's proof that Hollande is not a very coherent president, because on the one hand, he lets his minister threaten ArcelorMittal, then he waits a couple of days, and then says, no, there won't be this nationalization. So by doing this, he's upset both sides, and they say that by trying to please everyone, he's pleasing nobody. Meanwhile, the communist newspaper L'Humanité looks at how workers at this plant are reacting, and in their editorial, they point out that even though their jobs are saved, it seems that most workers are upset because this nationalization is not going to take place. They feel that the government gave in too much. They feel like they were tricked and abandoned by the government, and they say that this is proof that France's steel industry is in deep trouble.
Okay, finally, a completely different story now. A minister making an unusual appeal to the church.
That's right. That is Housing Minister Cécile Duflot. Now here it is, Duflot appelle à l'église. So what she's doing is she's calling on the church to vacate buildings, to open them up, buildings that are empty, so that people can stay in them, so that homeless people can stay in them during this very cold winter. Now, the church owns a lot of property across France, and so what she says is that any empty buildings should be opened as emergency shelter. She's written a letter, for instance, to the Archbishop of Paris asking him to open up these buildings. And she says that if she doesn't get what she wants, then she will actually requisition these buildings. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, one to watch here on France 24. No doubt we will as the winter goes on. Florence, thanks very much. France Villeneuve with the French newspaper.